Good morning. I'm Stephen Brown, and this is Tai Chi Gong, and we'll practice together. And as you know, Qi Gong is about breath. So movement and breath together, but breath is actually more important than movement. But they both come together. Breath itself is a movement. So let's start, as we always do. Inhale and exhale. Keep it easy. No movement in Qigong needs to be strenuous. Slow and easy is our mantra. And just stand here and breathe for a minute and notice your body. Are there any aches or pains or sensations? Just say hi to them. And also pay attention to the opposite side. For instance, I have my old friend, my right shoulder. It gives me some information. So as I do the movement from now on, I'm going to pay attention to my left shoulder. That's the thing, is not to pay more attention to the painful or uncomfortable side. So what we do is breathe in and breathe out. Just letting go of tension, noticing the good side as well as the unhappy side. And if neither are giving you problems, that's great. Notice your breath. Slow and steady. No hurry, no pause. Just keep moving like a windmill. And when you stand up, inhale and relax. And now we're going to do a slight back bend. First step forward, shift your weight forward and then stand up. So we're shifting our weight back and forth. Inhale forward, exhale back. The wrong way to do it is to not shift and just move your arms. This isn't the purpose. The purpose is to move, step, move your waist, and then slower is always better. To feel the shifting from the bottom to the top. And people don't think about this very much in a day, but if you learn to move this way in your life, you will feel better, be less injured. Because see, it's true whether you go to grab something or to just go with your arm, you're off balance. You're much better to take a step, get closer to it. The closer whatever you're doing is to your center of gravity. It's true for lifting something too. If you lift something this way or lift something this way. So when you move your body underneath your movement, then it's supported from underneath. But if I don't move my body from underneath my movement, I'm just moving my arms this way, the arms aren't supported to lift. So step forward and then reach the arm out. This works very well. So now see which side you have better balance on. Because Tai Chi is more about balance, Qigong is more about breath. We want both. Don't stop breathing. Don't lose your balance. So which is easier? If you have a side, stand on that side. Like I said, shift your weight, get support from underneath, and stretch. If you can't decide, it doesn't matter. You're balanced on both sides. Congratulations. So, breathing in and breathing out. And then Shifting to the other side may not be quite as easy, but just take it slower, breathe more. And now just stand and try to feel your center, which is an interesting concept, but the center is simply between the front and the back, the right and the left. It's like a line that if you look at any one of these light fixtures, it has a little cord coming straight down to the top of the head. So that's the feeling of being able to pivot on that center. And of course, you can shift your weight as you pivot too. But in the beginning, let's just pivot around the center, not going right and left very much, just staying in the middle. And trying to turn from the waist. Some people start the turning right here with the sternum or the arms, which isn't wrong, but it's more supported if you move from your legs and your hips. And then you could start to shift your center, right and left. And your arms can participate by relaxing and just moving however they move. But try not to initiate any movement in your arms. But keep the breath slow, steady. This is really good for your balance. So breathing every chance you get and just noticing how your body's breathing is the key. Now I'll do the 5-step Qi Gong movement. And you can follow me. We're into the 4th week, but we'll do the whole thing this time. But first, let's do the rising and the falling. So this is very important. This is where balance is increased with the inhale, exhale movement. You notice that it takes a little bit of effort to keep your back straight. The tendency for some people would be to lean forward. And this we want to avoid if possible. Try to keep a vertical up and down movement with your back. We can breathe in and breathe out like you're breathing into a big bubble and then dropping all of that, or the bubble collapses between your legs. And this is the key part, and this is where Qigong, breath work, breath and movement becomes Tai Chi, is when you start to load your legs in that way. And I wanted to highlight this point this morning because many people will see the arm movements and they will want to do the arm movements, and they won't include this is more important than the arm movements. So when we do this, of course, we're squatting just a little bit, and this is what's good for balance, especially when you don't do this, but when you bring the knees straight over the toes. And when we do the moves, as we'll do soon, this is a kind of a squatting, if you see this. And you stay in a slightly knee bent position. How much depends on you. But you don't want to be doing it stiff-legged or standing the normal way. If you just did it this way, you're not getting the benefit of Tai Chi. You might get the Qi Gong benefit of breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. But to really get the Tai Chi benefit, which means balance, literally you're not going to fall, you want to have your knees always a little bit bent, always cushioning yourself. You feel the spring of your legs. But if you just do this, you don't get that benefit. So you want to learn to squat a little bit, put your foot there, and then slowly. So when we talk squats, of course, we're not talking a full, there's no necessity for that. We're talking a few inches, maybe 6 inches at the most. 2 or 3 inches is good. But just remember, in Tai Chi, they call it sink. And the other thing is, we're not sinking this way. Actually, your back, what happens is your back straightens out a little bit. Remember, if you took the light fixture and you pulled it down, it's going to put tension on the wire that's holding it up, right? So actually your spine straightens up a bit. You don't, this doesn't happen. Just keep that in mind as we do the routine, because that's what's important, is that you have a little bend in your knees, and that makes a lot of difference in how your balance will coordinate. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now you don't always have to breathe this way. It's just a recommended breathing. But just breathe. Don't force your breath. Don't hold your breath. So this is number 1. Number 2, turn. Number 3. Number 4, there's no turn. You keep looking in the same direction. And number 5. I'm going to turn around, but you can just keep going so you can see how the arms go. So that's just the beginning part. We had number 2 would look like this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. But each time you come back to center. So you can say there's just 3 going to the side. 1, 2, and 3. But today what I'm really focusing on is people are wanting to get the arms right, of course, But the key is, we were just doing this in the beginning. And actually, this is happening each time I do this. I bend down a little bit, I do this, and I'm in a slight squat here. And when I come back, I stand up just a little bit. So there's always this little bit of rising and falling going on. If I'm just going like this and staying at the same level, I'm losing half the exercise. Want to sink and stay sunk right here, and then here, float up a bit, sink again, come back. So 5 simple moves. Stroke the horse's mane, roll back, press wrist, shift back, and 2-hand push. So, stroking the horse's mane, when you roll back, you turn back to face center. When you press wrist, you go to the side again, and then when you shift back, you don't turn to face the center again. And you just stay in the same direction. So there's a difference. The first return, you come all the way back to facing center. And then you turn again. No turning this time. Stay facing the same direction and move. And eventually, the leg movement becomes primary and the arm movements become very soft and relaxed. This whole sequence is known in Tai Chi as grasp the peacock's tail. This could be the movement right here, where you bring your palm and your wrist together as the grasp. And it's good to remember that the turning of the body moves the arms. The arms don't move separate from the body. The body, and we could practice this way too, is just standing here. You can just turn, keep your arms in front of you right here, relax them, relax your shoulders, and just turn your waist. And your arms are just going along for the ride. And that's mostly what happens with Tai Chi and Qi Gong, is the arms aren't moving on their own. The arms maybe move up and down a little bit, but the body moves and the arms move with the body. You can see how it's similar. Keep it simple. Just bend, squat down a little bit, stay straight, and keep everything relaxed upstairs. That's all there is to it. Very simple. But not so easy to keep smooth, steady, and slow. The better you get, the slower you can go. It's easy to cover up the rough spots when you're going fast. But can you slow it way down? And every time when we conclude the sequence, because you don't need to practice more than 10 minutes. I mean, sometimes you get on a roll and it's 15 minutes has gone by. But and practice outside if the weather's benign. If it's foul weather, of course, you want to stay warm inside. But always conclude with 3 breaths in, arms around, just kind of closing down the practice this way. I always begin and end with 3 circles. I always appreciate the space that I'm in, usually warm, comfortable. I appreciate the fact, I appreciate my own body that could show up. And last but not least, all my teachers and friends who practice this. And there's thousands, actually millions of people who practice this sort of thing in China and the Orient especially, but also in the West. It's a growing movement, especially among the elderly, but not limited to elderly people. It's just a gentle exercise that potentiates balance and health. So keep practicing.